Welcome to the Sioux Empire Podcast 121, Siouxpercon Pre-Show.
A pathless wilderness, wild, rugged, that was
South Dakota.
a hardy frontier, far from the paths of civilization,
Why die on Mars when you can live in South Dakota?
where fortune beckoned with a glittering smile,
I was hauling pigs on the interstate. You were in a red car having a problem with your shirt.
and life hung on the quickness of a trigger finger.
Podcast Palooza. I thought you said you were going to say something.
The Sioux Empire Podcast.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Sioux Empire Podcast. This is the Sioux Empire Podcast, the quirky but harmless podcast that's all about Sioux Empire news, comedy, music, and culture. I am your host, Robert Mailing, and joining me as always is co-host Seth Glover.
Get busy podcasting or get busy listening to this podcast.
Good. No options there. I like it. Also not joining us is Natasha Estes. She is burying... Let us have a moment of silence. She is marrying the cheese man, Dustin Bree, as I call him, today. So, big shout out to her. Congratulations on your big day.
Congratulations, Natasha.
Still not an excuse for not showing up, but congratulations.
Could have had the reception here.
We'll take that out of your pay. Anyway. Also joining us is these two wild and crazy guys from Siouxpercon. We've got Shane Gerlach.
Gerlach. Yeah, it's hard German. It's
Gerlach and Brian, son of a bitch, I am never gonna... Broekemeier?
Dude, you were
so close.
Not even.
He actually has the pronunciation on his Facebook.
I do. It's Broekemeier.
Just Broekemeier.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm leaning into the mic. You can probably hear me just fine.
It's much like, the TV show, Broekemeier.
Yeah.
Except for that the TV character on Broekemeier is a raging drug addict, alcoholic, sex addict, so he's a little bit healthier than Brian.
Well played, sir.
So you're saying that Brian likes to have a good time. All right. Well, hey.
We are going to dive into
dad.
all sorts of Siouxpercon antics here. But first, let's talk about what's going on in the Sioux Empire. Our first item is the big one that just broke the other day here, is that Trumpa Claus is coming to town. So Donald Trump is coming to Sioux Falls. It is not a rally. It is a fundraiser, much to my extended family out in rural areas' chagrin. So you actually have to pay money to go. So it's like, I think $500 to be in the presence of the Donald, and then $5,000 if you want your picture with the Donald.
It's not a bad gig, right?
No,
if you can get it.
Yeah, if you can get it. That's...
I mean, what else are the farmers going to do with all that money that he's giving them?
Right,
Exactly.
right. So it was a scam from the start. I'll give you the money, and then you'll spend it back on me.
You'll spend it coming to take a picture with me.
Stable genius.
Always. I mean, what could go wrong? So, anyway, that's what's going on with that. The juicier, more local gossip that has finally just blown over, but was a big thing for the last 2 weeks here, was all the rumors and whispers of rumors about the head of Sanford Health. Have you guys been following this online?
A little Kirby Krabanoff?
Yeah. So there was this rumor storm that, and I don't know how it got started because I am just as much a bystander of it as anyone else. But I had all my friends that are reporters and media and stuff like that who are just kind of I hear Argus Leader is sitting on a story ... and doing these incredibly cryptic posts about something big that the Argus is and they're the Argus is sitting on it, and the Argus people are just we report facts, not rumors. So that's it's we're not going to report anything until there's something to report, and I'm just kind of about what? And and everyone's being super cryptic about it, and one guy who will not be named had a thread that was basically oh, you're getting warmer, getting colder, as people were guessing beneath the thread what the rumor was. So then finally the dam broke, and the bravest journalists in Sioux Falls. They are the searchlight of South Dakota, really. The Sioux Falls Headliner, the parody news site, finally broke this story wide open by reporting that the legal department at Sanford was going to become the largest employer in South Dakota. And kind of, in their backhanded satirical way that only the court jester speaking truth to power can do, discussed the rumors of needing to buy off some women and some jewelry purchases and all sorts of crazy stuff like that. So that's,
I'm not saying nursery, but I'm saying nursery.
Yeah. Rhymes with sexual harassment. So immediately going into damage control mode, Krabenkoff, whatever. Anyway, big important Sanford man came and he talked to Sioux Falls Business and gave a big interview where he's talking about all their mergers and stuff like that, and basically saying that all the rumors are unsubstantiated and he's going to be there for a long time and he doesn't even know how this got started. So apparently it started with they did like a leadership retreat at a resort in Pierre or something like that, and everyone somehow that turned into, because this is one version I heard, that security had escorted Krabanoff or whatever off the grounds of Sanford. He'd been escorted out by like security, and it was just like, how do you get? They all went to like a business retreat to armed guards, in chains and manacles, walked him out of the front door of the hospital. I'm just like, tell the telephone game where you like start
right,
and you see how it like warps over time. It's like the internet is like that on steroids.
I had three chats started just off of Kirby's rumors. Like, people were hitting me up, have you heard this, have you heard this, have you heard this? And it's like, number one, I don't know the man. Number two, no, I hadn't. Tell me more. I was going to say,
why in particular were they like, well, you know a lot of drug dealers, so what's going on? Why were you the subject of this? Like, if I ever needed to do something illegal, I'd talk to
exactly,
Shane.
Right, exactly. The illegal expert, I guess. So it was funny. Is this what we've come to where, as you said, Robert, whispers of rumors and rumors of whispers become the fodder for our conversation? And it certainly did that day. Like I say, 3 different chats started because of a rumor.
Yeah.
And, and I've heard nothing more. And like I said, I've heard the exact same thing.
Honestly, I take his word for it, because I don't think he'd come out and do an interview where he's talking about he's going to be around for the next decade.
Right.
Immediately, like if in the next 3 months all of a sudden it's going to come out that, no, there really is like a big thing going on. So I'm like, that's a pretty like open and shut thing, doing the Sioux Falls Business interview.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so there really was nothing to it. It was just this little like thought virus that just like wound up and wound up and wound up until finally they had to say something.
Virus is a good word.
Yeah. I do subscribe to the is it Hawkins or whoever it is that does that has the theory that like memes are basically like a biological organism, like of a mental like virus or whatever, and how ideas like evolve and morph over time and all that. And so I kind of subscribe to that. So I think of something like that as like when they say viral, really like
it's like the viral virus
as a virus.
Yeah, absolutely.
But a thought virus.
It's scary. We've become a community of hive minds thanks to the wonders of the internet, which is a beautiful place.
Oh, yes.
But
I live there.
Do not speak poorly of
the interwebs.
The interwebs.
I have my Google machine, which allows me...
Google is life.
Were not for the internet, we would not be here.
Right.
The internet
it's
is
a beautiful
what provides
place.
the warmth and the cool that we need, and the water that we drink, and the air that we breathe.
Well, it's better than the Sioux River providing the water we drink.
That's very true. Very true. So now, next, moving on from these rumors to something that's very real.
Ooh, we just got to start the tagline of the internet cleaner than the Sioux River.
We'll work on it.
All right.
I'll have a T-shirt with that for sale in the store by next week. How about that?
Thank you.
So, I just wanted to talk about this hard-hitting, like incredibly important national headline that's going on right now.
Just go on. I'm passionate about it.
Yeah. Okay. So, there have been these poor, tortured animals as part of Barnum's Animals Crackers. And, they've been in cages for like 100 years, which, how do they even keep them alive? They have some kind of Lazarus serum that was keeping them alive that long?
They were testing all sorts of shit on them.
Yeah, dark magic. I mean, voodoo, what the hell? Anyway, they're finally free. Barnum's Animals Crackers. Why is Barnum's Animals Cracker? Isn't it Animal Cracker? Okay, never mind. Anyway, Barnum's Animals Crackers has finally freed the animals on the cover of their cheap box of animal crackers.
Can you eat just one animal cracker? Or do you have to eat the whole box?
Well, if you eat one type of it, then you're committing animal cracker genocide. So, are you trying to get, in front of the UN? And fun fact, though, back when it was on a tin box, they actually tested lead paint on the animals.
Nice.
Sorry, lead. Fuck that. When they were in a tin cage.
And then I was like, well, they used lead animals. I mean, no. We speak good. That's why we work in radio.
That's why
I do the talking.
I work good. I work good.
Stable geniuses, all to my right.
I'm still caught up on this animals crackers.
Well, it's Barnum's Animals.
This is like, what do you call it? The Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Like right now, my brain is being just blown because the Berenstain Bears growing up. Was it Berenstain or Berenstein?
Berenstain Bears.
Right? Like there's.
But it wasn't. I swear to God, it wasn't.
Ah, no. Yeah, right. So I don't know. I'm just saying right now. In that Shazam movie that came out, that was a thing. I swear to God, that was a thing.
With Shaq?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Kazam with Shaq.
Oh.
But Sinbad was Shazam. It was a different movie.
Yes.
Yes, everybody remembers this.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I was about to say the other one
was the
Sinbad.
bad movie that's always in the Netflix, that rip-off movie that's
so
you know what I mean?
bad.
That's like, was so rip-off. Anyway, sorry.
How did Sinbad get a career?
Animals Crackers didn't ever...
Shazam.
Shazam.
That's what the Illuminati wants you to think. Shazam.
Are Jay-Z
I really
and
hope you're all
Beyonce
laughing about the animals crackers and not the live feed from McCain's memorial service up in You sick weirdos.
It's painful. It's painful.
Just terrible.
Are Jay-Z and Beyonce officially running the Illuminati yet, or have we found out who took over yet?
Don't gotta say a word. You know what it be?
Jesus. So anyway, I just wanted to let everyone in South Dakota know that I'm super, super relieved that this terrible animal rights abuse is finally being brought to justice, and now that lion can finally do what it's been dreaming of and murder the shit out of all the other animals standing there next to it. Which is about time. The Onion even did a thing where they had the lion had, they added an actual picture of an actual lion with, a ripped-up giraffe's head in its mouth. And it was just kind of Barnum's Animals now free to murder each other.
Who wins that fight, and can we get Midwest All-Pro to book
Elephant, all the way.
I just wanted to throw out that...
how's it going, man?
What's up, man?
What's going?
Hashtag cleaner than the Sioux River is actually trending on Twitter right now. So I just checked. Yeah.
So, White Boy has just joined us in the studio. How you doing, Matt? I hope you didn't rush too hard.
No, it's good.
Okay.
I was taking pictures of the food truck with the puppy, and then I went and grabbed my kid, and I forgot. I'm not gonna lie, kind of spaced. And you're just confirming you're coming. Yeah, she's out there playing with the dog now. She's fine.
It's a beautiful day, so I almost forgot about it.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
I love my podcast.
It's a great day to stay inside and hug my air conditioner and
what is this? Are they letting the animals out of the barns?
They are.
They've
we were
been
just talking
freed.
about that. First off, we confirmed that it is the Mandela effect that it says Barnum's Animals Crackers instead of Barnum's Animal Crackers. Definitely Mandela effect. No, there is no dispute on that.
So
That's
what are they
science.
going to put in the place of the animals in there, say?
Well, no.
Don't tell me it's going to...
Because they used to be on there, but they were in circus cages.
Oh,
now
that's
they're
the
free.
change. Okay.
PETA finally, did some good in the world and freed those poor animals. Those poor Lazarus formula loaded up animals.
But we're still eating the animals, right?
Yeah. So, I mean...
It's
they're not the mascots, we're eating
yeah,
the
you kind of
animals,
are
right?
I thought they laid
carnivorous,
the
but
cookies.
If you think about it.
I thought I thought in biology class it talked about how they lay the cookies.
They laid the cookies?
Yeah. Because there's no way they, like, kill animals for food.
No, yeah.
By the way, we'll be
never do
having
that.
cheeseburgers after this. No.
Yeah, I mean, I got some eggs in the car. I'm not gonna.
Look, I'm going to tell you, I grew up on a farm, so I know animals don't go into food. We
No,
just
no.
feed them, and then we just load them
And
up on
girls
the
don't
truck.
fart.
And then,
Just drive away.
and then Dad comes back with this this beef stuff that they grow somewhere, and we have a feast. It's awesome.
I mean, McDonald's has been making chicken nuggets out of pink stuff for years, so
Yeah, there's actually very little chicken in there.
I think it changed now. But
Yeah,
Just
they
as
have
close.
improved that. But have you ever seen that Food Nation or whatever show where he shows how they used to make chicken nuggets, where he just takes the chicken with bones and everything and just mulches it basically, and then
the
turns
bones.
Yeah. They basically stick a chicken in a super blender and turn it into cream practically, then add a thickener, and then that's chicken nuggets.
What are you gonna pay workers to take the bones out?
Listen, parts are parts.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I've seen people make chicken and dumplings where they just throw the bone in. They don't just grind it up and then you separate the meat. Yeah,
That's for
kinda
the
that.
stock. I mean, that's
So, in conclusion, we're all becoming vegetarians after this.
Until
after the next steak we have.
until I forget, right after I watched What the Food,
Yeah.
I was a vegetarian for 6 months. And I was like, you know what? I'll just cut out a little bit of it. So I only eat the things that I feel like I will be able to kill in a while. It's like chickens. I feel like I could take a chicken. I probably wouldn't kill a cow. So I don't eat every now and then, because you never know, one of your neighbors might have killed a cow. So I'm trying to pretend like I'm back in the day.
I've killed a cow. It was like a total accident and like a big fiasco, but I've killed a cow or two.
I kind of want to hear the story now. Accidental kill a cow.
Remember, he's a farm boy.
Yeah, I've killed with negligence.
At least it wasn't malice, I guess.
I feel like a cow would be more my speed. I don't know if I could catch a chicken.
Well, you just throw rocks at him.
What?
Wait, what?
You hit him with a rock.
I'm like,
No, wait a minute. Now they have this. I have
head.
None of us are hunters.
I have this horrible image of you.
No, yeah, you're
by the
right.
way, in this fedora, in a chicken coop with pebbles, throwing them.
No, I'm saying if it was a wild bird, then I could catch him with a rock or a makeshift slingshot. I'm just saying I don't think I could murder a cow. So I'd feel bad about eating things I don't feel like I'd be able to kill. But I mean, you never know. I guess I've never tried, and if I did it on accident, like you, maybe I'd eat him.
Yeah.
That'd be one of those like, oh, we'll have a steak. Well, my neighbor hit a cow, so we didn't want it to go to waste. So
Yes.
In this hypothetical universe, we're all preparing our own food like it's hunter-gatherer days,
Yeah,
but we still have trucks and accidentally hit animals.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Accidentally on purpose.
Thag had Geico. So simple caveman could get it. Oh, animal crackers.
George W's on. Whoever thought we'd miss that guy, huh?
Oh, right.
gosh.
Right.
Truth. Right?
Wow.
Truth.
So, leader of the free world, not invited to international wedding and 2 state funerals. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
But hey, he'll be here to recap. For $500, you can hang out with him, and for
Yeah,
$5,000, get your
somebody
picture
said
taken
For
with him.
$500, you can be in the same building as him.
Yeah,
For
nice.
$5,000, you can take a picture with him. And for $10,000, he'll do things we can't talk about on
He's
the
really
air.
charging.
Well, we can.
He's charging for pictures.
Yeah,
$5,000.
it's not a rally. It is a fundraiser. So you got to pay $500 to go see him, and then if you want your picture with him, it's $5,000.
He must have heard that last episode about finding Klan stuff here. And that's why he came out here. We gotta get people.
Oh,
We gotta get those people all riled up.
Yeah.
dude.
So the big question is, whose hair is going to be higher, Christie's or the Donald's?
Depends on if the wind is blowing.
Yeah. I think because she's got home court advantage, maybe.
Jack him to Jesus.
Yep. Let's see. Yeah, this story's boring. I'm cutting it.
Boarding up houses saved.
So, was that the one where they were going to put in the new box store?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
the
what I thought.
box
Yeah,
store
yeah.
that was very, very clearly a Walgreens.
Yes, that one. Which
The
would have been...
generic store, but then they show the illustration, and other than the word Walgreens, it's like even the color scheme of the building is a Walgreens.
Like 4 blocks from another Walgreens.
Yeah.
Historical part of town?
Yeah, they were going to do it
That's how
to
you know you're
two. There were 4 houses that were going to be destroyed that were in the historical district. Now, bear in mind. Okay, I guess we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
So right over in the All Saints
Yep.
neighborhood. So not Pettigrew historic, but the All Saints. They were going to take out businesses and houses to take up
Were
a
they
whole
taking out
corner.
businesses? I thought it was just the houses.
No, all the ways to Minnesota. So they'd taken out that casino and that small antique store.
Oh.
All the ways to the corner. That would have gone from Minnesota to what is directly to the east of Minnesota.
Wisconsin?
Right. Yes,
Okay.
it would have been a very large Walgreens. Allegedly.
One Walgreens to rule them all.
That took me a minute.
No, wrong direction.
The wrong direction. Oh, shit.
East.
I don't even know.
Yeah. So whatever it was, Dakota.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
We'll
there
go
would
with
have been
that.
there'd have been a whole
Actually,
corner
yeah.
there. We're going to take out
Go to the
2
library.
huge houses that have become rentals, and are now, yes, as the headline says, boarded up.
Yep.
I thought once it was a historical house, they can't do anything to it but like renovate.
Only if
Yeah.
it's
And you
been,
even had to leave the structures in the
If it's
house.
unoccupied
Yeah.
like that, then
Yeah.
they can.
yeah.
Huh.
Because it's kind of beyond the point that they can actually make money by rehabbing it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what they were claiming anyway. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and it has to be on the historical registry. It has to be registered.
Yep.
We knock down historic buildings on the daily, or they fall down.
As Eddie Izzard said, it's like in America, it's like in England, we've got all these castles. You can't even drive in a straight line because of all the goddamn castles. And in America, they're like, this building's 50 years old. 50 years old? There was no one even alive back then. Tear it down.
Ciao.
Ciao. So, yes.
Is this still an issue? Seriously, texting and driving is still. Well, I guess yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
they're
lead the
weeding
nation
themselves
in
out,
teen
but they're
texting
still
and driving.
South Dakota does.
Yep.
Whew.
South Dakota.
I'm glad my almost teen doesn't drive.
Don't I have that clip? No, I don't have that on my
I
soundboard
have
anymore.
just bad things to say, and I don't want to defend texting and driving, so I'll hold my tongue.
I recently got the new. Oh, wow!
Yeah, I get that a lot.
I recently got the new vehicle with the talking to the vehicle, so you can make the phone calls and the texting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I still text and drive. I just do it with my voice.
Only problem is if you're in the car with somebody you don't like and you want to talk shit about them. Everyone has to know. Like you've never sat across the room with somebody like, this guy's a douche, and the other guy's like, yeah, no.
It happens to my mom all the time.
Wow.
And I'm gonna, because she'll always be saying something like, your father, but like, he's in the car with her, so it's funny, every once in a while she'll get a call and it'll be like one of my sisters gonna bitch about their husband or my dad or something, and they're in the car. You'll see her do like this mad dash to the sync panel in the front of the Explorer to try and like shut off the Bluetooth on her phone.
You're supposed to have code speak, Mom. Oh, well, we're just going to get tulips. You all can't see me winking my bad.
Yeah, my mom would never make it as like an underground drug dealer or anything like that. Because she's like, I have the drugs. that's great, Mom, but that's the drive-through microphone. So if you could just order your sub and we'll be on our way. Yeah, you'd never make it in that life. And I'm proud of that.
Nation. Well, we're good at something. I mean,
yeah, so we're leading the nation in so moving on to our next story, obviously, South Dakota leads the nation in texting and driving. For teens. So adults, you're fine. Just text and drive however much you want.
Are we getting more
you're
wrecks
totally
because
safe.
of it?
But
That's a good question.
Because if they're that good that they can text and drive, does that put us ahead of the curve, kind of? Because I mean,
Maybe.
you can do 2 things at once.
maybe our
Actually-
teenagers are like if maybe this how we skew the study is that we say South Dakota teenagers are 30% more efficient.
It
No.
doesn't say leads accidents, right? It just says
No,
leads
it's
the
texting
nation.
and driving.
That's
I
true.
would say
So,
that because this
a
was
national
like
leader.
self-report or reported like behavior. I'd say that we have the most honest teens.
Yeah,
So-
that's true.
Unless they're getting pulled over.
Good for them.
I mean, if they're
Good for
getting
them.
pulled over, but they actually are telling on themselves. Good.
so the numbers may also be skewed because we're one of the last states that allows 14-year-olds to drive.
Yeah.
So we have that, because we still are considered, although there's one farm in all of South Dakota owned by one guy, we
Hi,
still
Dad.
say, yeah, right. We still say, we need them to drive and haul the crops in and everything else. So we still allow 14-year-olds to drive.
Look at that map. It's Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, and Nebraska.
Yeah,
all the really boring stuff.
We're hauling corn. We're hauling corn.
Looking at corn and texting.
There's some bullshit here because look at how many giant states are no data. They didn't provide any data on this. So Minnesota's fucking cheating. I bet they're just as bad.
The only reason New York is that low is because nobody there really. I mean,
I was gonna say they don't drive.
They do have a lot
Upstate.
of traffic, but
upstate, but otherwise, and you Uber. And you can text while Ubering, you're not actually driving.
Yeah, all the boring states are, Massachusetts, and look at this, all these, New Hampshire, all the boring ones.
All you safe states, try harder. We believe in you. You can get those numbers up. I believe in you.
You gotta try, man, you gotta try. And California should definitely be in purple. I think that's purple. Lavender.
This? The deep blue?
Yeah, that. California, that's the tech capital of the world, so come on, man, you're gonna tell me those people
they just use their, brain implants or whatever to text.
No,
like Shane was talking about earlier, the hive mind thing.
They hacked in and changed the results of the
from all the microdosing. They can actually do telekinesis now. Wait, no, not telekinesis, but speaking through
telepathy.
There you go. Thank you.
I microdose a lot, and I don't know if I've got that. I have to work on that ability.
I'm not microdosing enough. I need to switch to macrodose.
Yeah, I'm gonna macro dose tonight.
Happy Labor Day.
Right.
Just trying to drive better, that's all.
You heard it here first, kids. Stop texting and do lots and lots of hard drugs that will help you drive better. Warning,
don't drink, though. Don't drink.
Don't drink, for the love of God.
Hyper-awareness.
Stick to your meth and your Adderall.
There you go. Hyper-awareness. He's got it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that worked for the guy who hit the sipping cycle.
I said I was sorry.
I hear about it. Did anybody die off of that?
No, but what a horrible bachelorette party.
Oh, imagine. It's more fun than riding down the street and singing whatever madness they do.
It was a bunch of veterinarians, I heard. So, yeah, isn't that horrible?
A bunch of them were in their 40s and 50s, and that's why you had so many injuries from the people that got thrown off. They broke a lot of stuff.
So I'm wondering if that somehow the injured veterinarians can somehow tie into the Barnum's animals, correct?
Oh, I was trying to make the connection. It wasn't coming up. I'm not quick enough for that.
We'll just go with it. So this last story here is that part of the budget is that Sioux Falls is picking up $25,000 in crowd control preparedness funding. The city of Sioux Falls is really concerned that we'll see pipeline style protests and stuff like that.
Flame resistant.
So yeah, so they want all the toys and gadgets so that they can fight off protesters, basically large protests larger than what Sioux Falls has ever.
Because we have those. A lot.
Yep.
What happened to that? Do we have large scale protests like that you would actually need flame resistant uniforms?
Every police department in a semi-rural area that has pipelines and reservations like South Dakota, North Dakota, they are all going to their leaders and stuff and going to their legislative bodies and telling them, oh, look at this fiasco in North Dakota. Look at this total disaster. We need all the military hardware you can throw at us so that we can, keep these people from, riding a horse past and saying, hey, please don't poison my water.
Let's subdue them.
So is this the plan on how they're going to protect people from falling into Falls Park?
Yes.
I don't understand. Who's
that flame retardant vest that they're going to wear?
Yes.
It's going to look really sharp when they're doing that photo by the falls after they find your body.
Specific special uniforms for the officers who would be trained in this role. Flame resistant uniform. We throwing cocktails now? Is that what we're doing?
Apparently. I don't know. Maybe the next budget proposal will include a flamethrower. So that's why they need flamethrower.
Can we add some of those body cams into this list? Right. That way, we can get, we want them to be safe whenever they're subduing us.
We already spent that on the T-500s.
That sucks. At least we'll be able to shoot kids in hallways.
Exactly.
$25,000 civil disturbance equipment.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we gotta fight off all the violent, Antifa protesters who are just constantly killing people in this town. And
or punching people at the Sioux Empire Fair.
I know
What is wrong with
that
you?
the check that we at the Sioux Empire Podcast regularly receive from George Soros ensures that we don't talk about Antifa murdering, the good conservatives in this town like constantly in their sleep. But
Oh my God.
Why don't they
we-
just divert the water supply through the Big Sioux and then everyone will be too sick to protest? Sanford stock's gonna go way up.
Oh.
Hey, solving problems over here.
All right, hey.
Damn.
Spitting hot fire. Look at you two. You're like kamikaze. You're
Hopefully
Eminem
it
today.
stays in the
Just
box
throwing
and never
fire.
comes out. Then why do you want to spend $25,000 on it? Oh, better to have it and not need it, and need it and not have it. Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean,
Much like our mayor.
Yeah.
As you get to the size of a city of 150 to 200,000, certainly beyond, it's one of those things that you need to be prepared for.
What does the National Guard do? Wouldn't this be like a
They
National
drive on the
Guard
weekends.
I was going to
instance?
say,
Yeah, I was
they,
gonna say
They
that.
go
they-
test.
they're all deployed to Iraq or secretly Syria or Yemen or someplace like that.
Or Yankton.
or Yankton.
Running drills. Yeah, some weird
One
stuff.
weekend a month, 2
We need
weeks
to
a year.
redefine like
Flame
Wait, this all-
retardant uniforms. I could use one of those for
I
my
was-
safety.
Like in the last 3 years, I can only remember two protests that Sioux Falls has had, and that's been the Women's March, and that's been Black Lives Matter protest. Yeah.
Yeah, you mean
And neither-
Antifa terrorists?
Yeah, exactly. And they were throwing Molotov cocktails, and they were getting in streets, and they were using the sidewalks. And just the
Using
worst.
the sidewalks like monsters.
But yeah, I mean that's the only, and like they've always been good, and like the police are there, and like it kind of opens up a dialogue between those people and the police, and like I think our
poor
police are pretty
naive Seth.
good about.
I think
Poor,
that would be
stupid,
involved in
simple,
people.
rather
naive
than spending
Seth.
$25,000 or however much, it would be a better idea just to talk.
Just to open up a new park or something like that, or do something that's like.
Well, we have teenagers at barbershops after 10 o'clock dancing.
Oh, I know.
So we do need this right.
That is another callback. Check out our most recent episode of the Urban Indians podcast where we talked all about that with the owner of the
I
shop.
thought we were throwing Footloose references. Damn it.
No, we talked
coming.
with him,
That's coming.
that's what I asked him is, are we becoming the city from Footloose?
Now remember, our leader who shall not be named of this fine city shares the same religious background as the pastor from Footloose.
Good old 9 hack.
Snake handler?
Yes, snake handler was
Okay.
exactly what happened in Footloose.
Yep.
No, reformed.
Kevin
Reformed.
Bacon got bit by a viper.
It would have been a much better movie.
I couldn't come
A
up
viper
with
that
a
escaped
specific
from Barnum's Animals Crackers.
Tying it all together. Well done. So, I think we're ready to jump in here to talking about SuperCon. That should be the big news here. You guys are here. SuperCon's coming up. I am pumped. Let's talk SuperCon.
Well,
So, what's SuperCon?
what is it? That's
are you?
Why is it?
Great question. What is SuperCon?
Why you do?
Why do I do?
Why you do, mister?
I asked.
Why you do?
I've been asking that the last 30 days. Why I do. What is SuperCon? Let me start with how did it happen? Brian, the SuperCon founder, threw a post up on Facebook and said, "Dude, if we had a comic book convention, would you come?" And what was it, like 6 people said yes, so we decided to put a comic book convention on our credit cards.
7.
7. That's right. I did like it right at the end. No, there was
yes.
there was a great response.
A lot of interested.
Yep. And so we took a leap of faith. Honestly, when I say we put it on our credit cards, I'm not kidding. The first convention we put on our credit cards, and we needed 500 people to show up at $10 a piece to break even. And so we printed 500 lanyards, and those were gone by noon of the first day, and we opened the doors at 10.
Oh, I remember. That was That was just nuts because I had no idea like what to expect. So
None of us did.
I've only got a chance to be there 1 year, but I'm going this year again.
Yeah. So
I didn't realize you guys were going to be here. I wore my Joker socks.
Nice. Outstanding. Outstanding. So, yeah. So they stuck us in a basement, which is typical of nerds. So we got a bunch of nerds together. So
it's our
shove them in a
natural
basement, right? And
everybody's playing Magic
The
together.
lights were
No, that's
low.
not what we're here for.
1,200 people showed up to celebrate their inner nerd and geek. Brian almost died that weekend.
How many costumes did you have first year?
Well, 6. No, we actually had a huge cosplay turnout. Remember how many we had the first year, Brian? How many did we have?
Oof, boy, that's a great question anymore. I just remember last year's was 80-some people.
Yeah, I took pictures of it, and in order to do pictures of it, it literally looped around the building.
Yeah.
Yes, I've got pictures of people like out in the outdoor pool area, all standing in line to try and get into the cosplay.
Yeah, it was great.
And I have a feeling this year, especially with it being close to Halloween anyway, so it's like it's going to be ridiculous.
I think it's going to be it's going to be off the hook. So so we decided after year 1 we'd try year 2, and so that's how it started. And what it is a celebration of all things in the geek world. Brian's vision was perfect. We can't just be a comic book convention when we have 3 comic book shops in the whole state. That is difficult.
Which is unfortunate as well.
Right. So we had to embrace cosplay and gaming and video gaming and science fiction and fantasy.
Well, a lot of that stuff like goes hand in hand with a lot of cons anyway. So I mean,
It does.
I don't think that's a stretch.
No, it's not.
It gives you some variety.
Right. Yeah. So we celebrate everything. I mean, I don't know that we've said no. For God's sakes, we had a furry panel last year, so I don't know that we've said. I don't know that we've said
furry like furry.
Furries,
like
yes,
furry?
Yep.
Okay.
So I don't know that
Please
we've
tell
said
me
no.
my
to
I might find my
podcast
unicorn
panel is
this
right
year
after
after all.
Or right before that. No, put that one right before my how to podcast. It's like I think you're here for the furry.
I'm looking for a unicorn this year.
So yeah, it's just the thing I like to say the most is that what we hope to create, and I feel that we've created, is a place of inclusiveness and safety where people can come and express themselves however they like.
Absolutely.
With no fear of bullies.
Yep.
Right.
Place to learn. That was a big thing for me too. That particularly that first year. I don't know a lot about gaming as a nerd, right? So I want to learn about it. And I want other people to learn, and then
expand your
About
nerdosphere.
all forms of gaming, or
get
just
people
video
together
games?
to
Video, RPG, board gaming.
A lot of the comics that I work out with, that I perform with, Skylar performs with you. He's huge on magic.
Yeah.
Not like real magic, but like.
Well, that'd be great though.
Well, he did levitate the Sir Todd when he was here last time.
That would be really cool if he knew real magic. But yeah, I know he's
not
pumped that
magic,
he has a
that's
girlfriend and he
telekinesis.
can be able
That's
to
true.
actually
That's
play.
true.
Sorry.
It's I think. Well, speaking of magic, Travis Nye will be a part of Supercon this year, but it's
Who's this Travis Nye?
he's a donut guy. I think more than anything a
Who
donut
also
guy.
does real magic.
Yes, he does.
Obviously,
So you're
I'm
gonna
being
confuse your
being
fans.
facetious here.
Yeah,
Travis
yeah.
Nye,
I watched him put a
co-host
nail
of
through his
Macabre
nose.
Grimoire podcast
Yes,
here
he
on the
does.
network.
Yes, he does. Absolutely.
and then he nailed it to a board of a picture of himself, and then gave it to my little sister. It was pretty fantastic. Yeah.
Are we gonna go with your little sister now? Is that open?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, sorry.
That's
We have a history.
Tell us a story.
So last year, over Mother's Day weekend, and college graduation, we had 3,200 paying show up, and that's 10 and over. So when you add in all the Rugrats, 10 and under,
the adorable Rugrats.
Yes, absolutely, the adorable ankle biters. We were probably pushing 3,800 to 4,000 last year in year 2.
So, Supercon was worth it last year just to see, because I actually had a bunch of family come from out in the boonies, and they brought a bunch of my nieces and nephews. My nephew Clyde is super into costumes, and he came as George Washington, but he had like the full get up with the wig and the like vest and stuff.
2 pictures last year. He was one of them. The other was a gala dressed as Inara from Firefly. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I actually showed someone that picture the other day.
Immediately after leaving Siouxpercon, my folks wanted to do a supply run at Sam's Club. He sat in the cart, and then at one point when they were going down the aisle, he got up, stood up in the front of the cart, and then all of a sudden started pointing like this.
Nice.
Mom and Dad were just like, oh my god, the whole aisle at Sam's Club stopped. Everyone stopped what they were doing and started laughing as we passed through with this little George Washington on a shopping cart.
You gotta set a camera up, just have him coast by it, pointing. It's
crossing
great.
the Potomac.
It was so awesome.
I had no idea of the costume stuff. The cosplay stuff still baffles me, and that's okay. I absolutely, I embrace every bit of it, but I had no idea how big it was going to be.
Like when you started, you weren't imagining it was just going to be swarms of people who need an excuse to dress up as something.
Not in South Dakota.
Yeah.
I didn't. We are kind of repressed, bring a casserole every Sunday and have some lefse and
I've seen a full Future Armor cast at like Halloween costumes here, complete with a bender with a kill all humans sign.
I've only ever seen that at college towns in South Dakota.
Yeah. So that was really surprising for me, and that community continues to grow. We've had wonderful response from our cosplayers showing up for events for us, parades, movie nights, Moonlight Movie Night.
Anything we've really asked them.
Yeah.
This is a group of very talented people that otherwise I feel like they wouldn't be able to share some of their talents, but to go out and I see that is amazing.
What's cool about it is I think it's cultivating kind of an ecosystem of geek culture here, or helping with that. Because I mean, you look at like the couple that won the very first cosplay contest, and they had, like, my understanding was they'd never done it before.
Correct. Yeah.
And they showed up with that Big Daddy from
BioShock.
From BioShock. Oh my gosh, that costume was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
It was like the coolest
worked.
thing ever.
It worked.
All the parts all the parts were working. The big red things were glowing.
Yeah.
Just amazing. And they'd never done it before, and now they're regulars, and they like go at it hardcore.
They're judging our child cosplay this year, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So they're helping. So we've expanded to children's cosplay on Sunday this year. And we'll get into a rundown of everything that's happening. But the cosplay was very surprising. The gaming community has been just ridiculous, the amount of gamers that show up, and y'all gamers don't sleep.
Yeah.
Guys, I leave the floor, at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm down there at 7:30. Y'all are still gaming. That's nuts, man. But yeah, more power to them. One thing that we've seen is that, the comic book part is actually the smaller driver. As far as attendees, guests, we still, are heavy comic book side, but attendees, I think that the gamers and the cosplayers drive that the most.
Definitely. I feel like the movie universe has really driven people from the outside coming in.
Yeah.
That would be comic book fans.
Right.
So it's really comic book inspired people that are coming now.
Yeah, and
the comic book community, really.
And it's probably good for the comic book, people there, just because it's like a new pool of people that haven't been exposed to it before, kind of like getting a chance to get in front of them.
The biggest movies out there right now, we know, are superhero movies, right?
All of the big movies.
They smash records left and right. Nerds are running Hollywood now. Bryan Singer, down the line, they're running Hollywood now. And their kids are being driven to comic books through the movie theater, where in the past we were driven to movies through comic books.
Yeah.
Weird. I couldn't get my kid to transition over. I tried to let her read the Infinity Wars, like the graphic novel.
Yeah.
And she likes the movies better.
Yeah, there's so one of the things that I love about South Dakota, and specifically Sioux Falls, is they have at the Sioux Falls Library System, the Sioux Empire Library System, they have a dedicated graphic novel librarian who can steer your children towards that. And I live in Del Rapids, and 2 of the English teachers have repeatedly said, please keep doing this. It's the only way I can get my preteen boys to read is through comic books. So
all the math I ever learned was through Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, it's stuff like that that like
sure, absolutely,
that drives them learning what they like.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. So so it's kind of scary, but also amazing this year that we're moving into the convention center. That was kind of Brian and I's 5-year plan.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we're in year 3, and we're moving into the convention center. Expecting 5,500 to 6,000 people for a 3-day weekend in Sioux Falls. Comic books, cosplay, and gaming being the 3 big drivers. And if you'd have said that out loud 10 years ago... in fact, in 1986, the last comic book event that was held in South Dakota that we know of, prior to some smaller conventions starting back up, but a comic book specific, was in a semi-trailer in the parking lot of the Ramkota.
That's growth.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's exponential growth.
You guys want to see some comic?
Right. Now, there's been, of course, about that time, that's when card shows really started to take over. And then the internet ruined card collecting as well, because it drove, much like any collectible, it drove the
industry
price down.
Disrupted.
It's back when hogs came back and yo-yos. It's a
Right.
great time to be alive.
Right, absolutely.
One thing too that we haven't taken into consideration yet is that we're having wrestling and we have a rap show Friday night. So we have Midwest All Pro coming, and then we've got Dad after that. So I think that's going to also see a new demographic of folks, because we didn't have wrestling the first 2 years, and that's obviously it's got its own following here in Sioux Falls.
Oh yeah,
Huge.
I'm surprised at how popular that is.
Well, here's the thing. And there was some early pushback. Let's be honest. We talked about wrestling right from the start, and there was some early pushback, and a big part of that is there's that misconception of jocks are going to beat up nerds, right? So, and I've explained over and over as much as I could that, listen, there's no bigger cosplayer than a wrestler. They put on tights, play a character, and dance around in a ring. They are cosplayers.
There was
an RPG, man.
There was a DJ I used to listen to in the Twin Cities who he came up with this whole like grand unified theory of nerddom, and he's just like, sports fans are just another kind of nerd, and he would call them the jock sniffers. He's like, there's baseball jock sniffers, there's football ones, there's wrestling ones. He's like, they're the biggest nerds. And he's absolutely right. I had a friend out there that was such a Twins fan. I mean, the guy like could barely remember his name. He was kind of the Minnesota stereotype from the guy from Coach, where he's like super big and not that bright, but but holy crap, I could be like, so in 1978, who had the best hitting average on the Twins lineup? That would be so blah, 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 blah. It just totally like rattle off like all the stats about that year, way before he was alive, and I'm just like, what?
Guys, think about this. What is fantasy football? Fantasy football is Dungeons and Dragons for jocks. Yep. My defensive line can beat up your quarterback. It's no different than my orc can beat up your elf.
And they're sucking their girlfriends into playing it.
It's no different, guys. It's fantasy is fantasy. Another thing we've added this year, besides wrestling and hip hop, is we've added craft beer. And you want to talk about a nerd community, So
absolutely.
Actually, the hops.
right.
Get your monocle, buddy.
Right.
So spend 10 minutes at the Renaissance Festival at the mead tent talking about the different kinds of mead. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
learn real fast that it's a nerddom.
We only fertilize with buffalo manure.
Yeah, so Take 16
well, actually,
is coming in.
This type of honey mead was only created, it's not really authentically medieval, because this one originated in Egypt, in the lower Nile Delta. Yes. Okay. Woo! Yeah.
Yes. I just saw a mead thread. Oh, some people gone up to Ren Fen up at Twin Cities. Yeah.
Love that thing.
So... yeah, the fact that Puke and Snot are still doing their gig up there 20 years later is amazing.
Amazing.
But yeah, so Take 16 Brewery is coming in to sponsor our After Dark. We've expanded After Dark to 2 nights this year.
Yeah, I saw that. That caught my attention.
That's going to be a lot of fun. You guys are part of After Dark.
Oh, yes.
A huge part of After Dark this year.
Yeah, because Saturday night we're first we're going to do an episode of the Sioux Empire Podcast live recording, which got pretty bawdy last year.
Should be fun again this year.
And it should be a blast. It was a blast last year. Very, very interactive crowd. And then something different. We didn't have this podcast this time, or last time around. Macabre Grimoire, our paranormal, like investigation and storytelling and stuff like that podcast. It's all about the weird and the strange. That's got magician Travis Nye, who will perform like on Family Day later that day.
Yeah, and do an after dark show right after you guys.
And then Medium Airy Show will be there. And then me, if you need to know any nerdy facts about the paranormal stuff, I'm there.
You guys should, not telling you how to do your podcast at all, but, Patrick Doyle's going to be there.
I saw this. I just liked and posted his video saying that he put out this morning about it.
Yeah.
And so that inspired me this morning. That's on my to-do list to get a hold of him.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll make the introduction. I mean, he's not doing anything that night except for, as you saw at the end of his video, if you watched it on our Facebook page, I believe he'll probably be toasting that night. He offered to have a cocktail with whoever showed up. So,
nice.
So Patrick Doyle's one of our guests this year from the sci-fi show Ghost Mine. So he'd fit right in to that podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be amazing. And you guys are bringing a guest in.
Yes, we are.
You guys are sponsoring a guest. So you guys have been such a big supporter for us from the start. And
absolutely. Well, it's an awesome project, and I'm so glad that Sioux Falls has this and that it's growing and thriving the way it is. So it makes me proud.
We feel the same about you.
Well,
aww.
Yes, this has become
the feels.
This has become an opportunity for Take 16, who's growing, and the Sioux Empire Podcast that's growing, and Siouxpercon that's growing, and I found that we've been able to become these community partners and lift each other up and hold each other up, and I think that's pretty amazing, because I think it just benefits all of us, doesn't it?
I think so.
So you guys are bringing in Sean
Williams?
E. Williams, yes. Amazing young man. Well, not young.
A cool dude. I'd give him a bid, as we used to say.
He's got lame mom jokes. I just want to preface any of the conversation.
No, wait a minute.
Right now with that. Let's just circle back to this. Lamest mom jokes I've ever heard in my life.
I don't know that it was that lame.
Your mom has lame jokes. Lame mom jokes, I mean. Your mom can't deliver a punchline like me. Style.
So I want you to go back real quick, though. It's interesting that you mentioned something about the podcast, how interactive the community is. When you give the nerd community, all of us belong to that, I believe, in one way or another, right? A voice. How much great can come out of that, and especially when we network together. And I think that's really encompasses Siouxpercon.
Yeah.
And that mission is just like when I hear things like, yeah, finally we're all coming together as a group and we're making stuff happen in this town. So
that's awesome.
We can impact things at our own level and push it forward.
Absolutely. Just the amount that we've, as a community, are giving back. The volunteer time. When you look at the 501st, you look at South Dakota Ghostbusters.
Which those are both fun organizations that send people who have really awesome cosplay, and I just love that.
Yeah, and they're out there and they're doing things, and we're not getting paid for any of this.
There's a Batman running around town, too.
Yeah, and he's part of Siouxpercon now. He's been, so...
Got the car.
How could he not be? I mean, seriously.
Right.
He messed around and let Robin drive without his no costume on the other night. My kid caught him out, I think that might be his kid.
It's pretty amazing to watch. We've given Reach Literacy and the JY6 Foundation over $6,000 in the first 2 years. Right, Brian? Is that where we're at? Over 6?
Yes.
We are...
I'm trying to do math for the sad. I'm like,
I think so. I think my math. Yeah, I think my math is between the two of them over $6,000, and
nice.
We're completely nonprofit, which is, I don't want to say the name, and I won't say the name out loud, but the month after our first...
No, we were at 10,000. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, we're over 10?
Yeah, because first year we gave...
Yeah, I was going to say, that sounded low to me.
So. But we also dedicated $500 for different ways
Oh, yeah.
to raise money for them.
Yep.
Between like charity dinners and things, and then $2,500 for each last year. So
Yeah, so we're over 10.
10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And hopefully quite a bit more this year.
the for-profit, well, yeah, we're gonna, yeah,
Sponsors have really helped.
the sponsors. We'll get to that. Yeah,
Yep,
the a for-profit convention came in a month after our first one.
Well, of course, they smelled the blood in the water and like, oh, there's a market for this here.
Failed, and I was actually very worried about the stink they left behind because I thought,
Really?
oh my God, it's going to kill us in year 2, because we're talking dissatisfied vendors, we're talking guests that were not paid / underpaid, promises weren't met, and actually it did the opposite, because we had met every one of our guarantees and met every one of our promises. People turned around and said, well, why aren't you like Siouxpercon? We'll just put our money behind Siouxpercon.
Ooh, you know that had to burn.
Well, you know, and I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus, but, you know, greed gets in the way. Greed gets in the way.
And we didn't even, our first year, and this is something I think we're proud of as a group, is that we didn't meet every promise at the con because we weren't expecting 1,500 people to show up, but we still made good on it later. And that, I think, is the difference between,
right,
you know, what a successful organization will do.
I've got my gold coin.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it
You
might have
had to wait a while.
It might have taken a while to get that dice
I waited a while, but it was worth it because it's awesome.
Yeah.
to get a gold coin or a dice or a pair of earrings or whatever it was that we promised. We followed through.
Yep. And we had Futurescape 3D work around the clock to get those dice to us, which was pretty impressive.
I still use those bad boys playing D&D.
Awesome. So, like, you know, and that's another thing with the community coming together is that when you ask people, hey, can you help us out? And they step up to the challenge and make things happen. So
like Vishnu Bunny, you know, bringing in Tony Fleeks this year, doing a first Friday. We're doing a living comic next weekend, 20 panels on their wall in their art gallery next Friday. So stop on down first Friday downtown Sioux Falls. Stop down to Vishnu, and we'll be all there hanging out. And one of our staff members is actually going to be DJing there. So again, this weird connection of community, and we all know tattoo artists are geeky, and I mean, there's just another. There's just another place that we hadn't touched, and now this year, right, and they're like, we will pay everything for Tony to come out. And we're like, okay, so yeah, Tony Fleeks, the artist of My Little Pony. So all you bronies out there, you know, come get your bron on.
Guilty.
Guilty.
I said last night with her daughter, actually, my youngest.
Sioux Empire Podcast, bringing in Sean E. Williams. Wednesday Comics, bringing in Phil Hester.
We should.
Sean is such a good time too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's such a right. Like he's
hilarious.
He's like I said, he's a dude. He's awesome.
Yeah.
We should mention, since they're kind of our friends here, they're our friends. Werewolf Productions. They're bringing in
Tamara Glenn.
There you go.
So Tamara. So this is the thing. We booked all of our guests, and then Dominic from Werewolf Productions gets hold of me and says, "Hey, would you like a guest?" And I'm like, "Who is it?" And he says, "Well, you know, it's Tamara Glenn. If you ever saw Freddy's Nightmares or the TV show Freddy's Nightmares, or you know Halloween 5, she was the lead in that, and she'll be in town. Would you like her to show up?" "Yes, please." Right? You know, absolutely we would. Brookings Books and Comics. Guys, Brookings Books and Comics. If you drive to Brookings at all, or if you just are bored on this afternoon, please go and see Rich. What an amazing store. Last year, when Ken Levine was here, producer of Preacher, Witchblade, Hellboy.
I got my signed Arseface up in the corner there from
Nice. He was at Brookings Books and Comics on the Friday before the convention with Bill Willingham, and he sat in the back and looked at all of Richard's first edition books that he buys from estate sales and stuff, and he just couldn't stop raving about what an amazing bookstore that is. And it's a small, locally owned, and Richard has been on board with us from year one. And he and the Midwest Maidens roller derby team out of Brookings are bringing the creator of DC Superhero Girls, Shea Fontana, to Sioux Falls. Nice. And I think this is one of her only 6 conventions she's doing this year.
Wow.
And she is one of the biggest and brightest stars out there right now. Like, if you have kids, Doc McStuffin and DC Superheroes.
I saw that. I didn't know she did Doc McStuffin.
Are in their world, man.
And McStuffin. Well, my kid had it. I didn't. I bought it for myself.
Right. Sure.
Even though your daughter leaves the room after 5 minutes, you got to know what happened to Puppy Bear.
Right. So that's pretty amazing. So who else is bringing in people? I should know all this. I should have all this memorized. I should think better with my brain.
What I love about Shay too is like she's so responsive.
Oh my gosh,
she's been so great with like Facebook. Of course, is the measure for all, right? But she has been great with just every time we've posted, she shares and interacts with it, and so I'm very excited to have her. And as far as I know, she's the #1 DC comics author of all time.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's like a huge deal. We
Think about DC Comics. Outsold Frank Miller. Outsold Swan on. No one has ever sold more DC books than DC Superhero Girls.
It's pretty awesome. But yeah, we really struggled with trying to find lady guests last year, and this year we have a pretty, good showing. We got Jill Thompson, of course, is coming.
Jill Thompson, when you think about female creators in the comic book world, Jill is the first name. Sandman, Wonder Woman, very scary godmother. She has done it all. And so I contacted Jill, and Jill said, here's the deal. I like to do small conventions every once in a while, and this is a gal who's headlined San Diego Comic-Con, been a feature, people lining up to get into her panel.
Winning Eisner Awards.
Yeah, Eisner after Eisner after Eisner, which is the Academy Awards of comic books, and she said, I like to do small conventions every once in a while because y'all don't get out there. And so she's driving over from Chicago, and that'll be a blast. I said, hey, Jill, we'll fly you. She said, I like to drive. I'm like, great. Plane ticket I don't have to buy.
And she's a true artist too, which makes it really fun. Like she's very talented.
Oh, ridiculously talented. Game Chest. Speaking of up and comers, Amanda and the crew over at Sioux Falls Game Chest, another new nerd area for Sioux Falls, right?
Very focused on creating a community.
And started as a pop-up,
and
we approached her when she was a pop-up. One of our former staff members, Brandon, approached her and said, hey, we do gaming. You do gaming. We should do something together. And sight unseen, struggling to start her own business, she plopped down a check and said, I'll sponsor someone. And the perfect match for her was Tom Wynn, who's done a ton. Not only is he an amazingly talented artist who's done just about every character DC has, but he did the Marvel card game.
Nice.
Number of sets of the Marvel card game. So he'll be with at her booth, which is pretty amazing. Another thing we're doing this year is we're putting the guest and the sponsor together. Because y'all should benefit. Y'all paying for somebody. They should be at your area.
Absolutely.
So to drive traffic to you. So
now I won't have to bring a robot friend to work the booth with me.
Man, let me tell you what. That robot last year, people loved that robot and then hated that robot.
Oh, yes.
It was very polarizing. But everyone left the convention singing that damn robot song.
And that wasn't me. That was a little kid came up and make him play the robot song. And I'm like, what's the robot song? It's on YouTube. And then
there it is.
There it is. Robot.
Yeah, it was.
And the rest of the convention just like that, nonstop. Because I brought a soundboard full of vendor quotes, and I was just like, no, that was Kickbot's calling.
Yeah, it was. Everybody knew the song by the end of the convention for sure. Who else do we have coming in? Eric Gapster's coming back this year. He out of Iowa. He's coming with Phil. One of my absolute favorite moments from last year's convention was...
Don't say it.
Yeah, Eric, well, no.
Okay.
Not me and your mom. But Eric Burnham...
I was going to say the other thing, but okay.
No, Eric Burnham, who does the Ghostbusters comic book, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, he's done so much, got done with his panel. And the South Dakota Ghostbusters came up and made him an honorary member.
Oh, cool.
And his face, I mean, they gave him a plaque, and his face was just, like, it was a cool moment. And so South Dakota Ghostbusters is sponsoring Eric's appearance this year.
I actually nerded out really bad meeting him in Minneapolis, or St. Paul.
Don't even.
That's a story you're going to tell, so I'm going to tell it, so it sounds way better from me. But I met him and I was totally cheesing out because I absolutely love everything that he's done. Back to the Future, Ninja Turtles, and Ghostbusters was my childhood, so
yeah,
it was just like everything that he's done is fantastic.
So I take Brian to St. Paul to FallCon up there. I'm like, we should go. We should meet people. We should recruit. We should network, right? We should be professional. So I show up with a bunch of business cards. Brian shows up with a Ninja Turtle backpack and
a stack of comic books.
And we appear before Dan Jurgens. And the drool running down Brian's face as he bounces like a small child.
My voice quivering.
In line at his first state fair, as he breaks out his Doomsday toy for the creator of Doomsday, Dan Jurgens, to sign. Meanwhile, I'm trying to talk to Dan. Hey, Mr. Jurgens, and he knew me right away because we'd corresponded quite a bit, and I was wearing a Siouxpercon shirt, not a Star Trek shirt like the founder was wearing, and for networking. And
bust out my Demogorgon Buster shirt today.
You're so beautiful. Yeah, so I'm trying to recruit this man, who unfortunately DC Comics scheduled. He was going to come this year in DC Comics, who actually pays him a lot more money than we would. Scheduled him on something else.
Duty calls.
Yeah, right.
Contractual obligations.
Congratulations. Yep. So who are we missing for guests here? Oh!
Gordon Purcell.
Yeah. Gordy Purcell is coming back.
I also nerded out with him. Too.
Yeah, great guy. Star Trek. If you love Star Trek, you love Gordon Purcell.
Fantastic artwork.
Bridget Berlin is our first cosplay guest.
Outside cosplay guys.
Yeah. That we're bringing in. Yeah. So excuse me. VDR has been wonderful for us, and so we're bringing in Bridget. She is a professional body painter, and you can go on the Facebook page and watch the video that she cut, and that should interest you. Just gonna leave that there. So she's coming in.
All she's wearing is paint, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, have you not seen this video?
Oh, I've seen plenty of these. Maybe not specifically that.
We're not talking at Scarlett's.
I understand. I watch Face Off a lot, so I don't know if you've seen that show. It's about. Yeah, and it's about.
No, that is a good show. Face Off. That is an awesome show.
Not just face painting. It's
But no, she posted a very specific video about Siouxpercon while she's fully in body paint. It's pretty interesting.
Interesting is a good word.
More interesting than say Mystique.
In that ballpark.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
possibly.
She's got less on the Mystique.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I like less.
So Bridget's coming in.
That's amazing to me that she can do that. Like,
she does it herself.
I know. That's what's so mind-boggling is that she's able to paint.
I can't
with
brush
so much
my own
detail.
hair.
Right.
Right.
Like,
That's why I wear a hat.
Nice.
I have a back and over, and
that's
I'm
your thing now, so I can't do that. But I should have thought of that.
The
Allison Court. We didn't talk about
Allison.
Her.
Oh my gosh. So Allison Court voiced Jubilee on the Amazing X-Men animated cartoon, right?
Oh, I saw that.
So I'm like,
That's
oh my
awesome.
god, right? So we're bringing Allison Court in, and everyone's going to go crazy because it's Jubilee, and like, she also did this thing called the Big Comfy Couch, and she played the lead character Lunette. And y'all millennials are going nuts over Lunette from the Big Comfy Couch coming because your parents left you, put you on the TV with some fucking sugar, some sugared cereal, and said, "Here y'all go, watch this girl on a big comfy couch with her pet dust bunnies." And like the response on Lunette coming is 8-1 over the response to Jubilee coming. Like, people are stupid over Lunette coming. So Allison Court is coming. I just had someone else on my tip. The voice of Megatron.
Yeah.
Jason Marnaka is coming. Now,
pretty awesome.
If for nothing else,
so cool.
flop down $10 and come out and have Jason Marnaka record your voicemail.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Right? Everybody in Sioux Falls is going to have Megatron as their voicemail greeting.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I was like, I wonder if that'd be a possibility.
If I cut you a check, can we get some sound for like a year's worth of sound bites for the Sioux Empire podcast? Merry Christmas.
Christmas from the Sioux Empire Podcast.
It's gonna right. So Jason is a very interesting cat, man. Like Jason is not. I didn't book Jason for anything for After Dark because Jason is really looking forward to After Dark. Carol Zara and Eric Barnett of Alien Toilet Monster out of which was one of the top independent comics of last year, and is a commentary on what social media, politics, and the interwebs have done to us as a culture.
If like you wanted to be aware of the Ninja Turtles when they first rolled out, like how ridiculous that really is for a book, like this is like on par with just the quality of the writing and the originality, and then the art. I think it's a fantastic mix of things, and to be independently done is kudos to them.
And issue 2 will be coming out right about con time.
Yeah, so it's only going to get better. I actually love that comic.
Yeah, so
really
so Carol and Eric are coming down out of Toronto. Good friend of the convention that Dan Bublitz turned us on to last year. He was a comedian who's become a really hot up and coming comic book writer, Elliot Rahal, who. God, I love that guy. He is coming back for a second year. He came down for the Daycon as well, hung out, slept on our convention director Derek Magnus's daughter's bed that night because we were fail and forgot to get him hotel rooms.
He wrote Hot Lunch special.
Yep, brand new one.
Brand new comic book the night before.
Yeah, and the opening scene of Hot Lunch
takes place in Sioux Falls.
It takes place in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
With a mountainous background.
Yeah, he kind of screwed that one up, but it's not the first writer to do that. My first time out in D.C. I was out there at George Washington University, right, on an exchange program, and people are like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "I'm from Flandreau, South Dakota." How close is that to Mount Rushmore? Right? Well, not at all, because people just associate. There's one thing.
At least they get that.
Yeah,
I mean, at that trip to California I did in the '90s. That was like, do you guys have running water out there?
Oh, no, I got that too.
and I got a lot of, is that in the U.S.?
That's ridiculous.
My friends back home when I first moved here asked me if they had shoes here. Like, they wear shoes? They live in teepees or something? Nah, man.
Yeah, you got to
They
stop.
have electricity.
We live in wigwams.
It's crazy. There's electricity. There's lights strung up and down the street.
When I was with the Sioux Falls Canaries.
I hate to do this, but I'm going to play this little cue here and get us into Shameless Plugs. We've been kind of shamelessly plugging Sioux Empire.
Yeah, we have.
Siouxpercon, which I'm totally...
The Sioux Empire Podcast proudly presents this week's Shameless Plugs.
Oh, I love Shameless Plugs.
But we're up against a hard break here coming up, so let's go ahead and your final 5-10 minutes of what you want to talk about.
Oh, wow. Is that where we're at? Did I miss anyone, Brian?
You missed a lot of people.
Okay, go.
I am totally blaming you here.
Go.
Do I have time right now to talk about everybody?
Go.
Otis Frampton.
Otis, outstanding. Featured guest on Sunday, Family Day, brought to you by Marlin's Family Restaurant.
Yep, he's done Star Wars Adventures cover twice now.
He's doing a wonderful. DC Comics gave him. He's a wonderful children's author. Does the book Oddly Normal, and DC Comics gave him all the characters and said, "Here, do them for that 6-year-old to 10-year-old." And he's done books for that, the covers and the art for the books for that, which is amazing.
He's getting married.
Yes, to a Sioux Falls girl. To a Sioux Falls girl. Yep.
It's pretty exciting.
Next,
John Allen.
John Allen, our featured comedian for Saturday After Dark, brought to you by Take 16 Brewing. John is a huge comedian, has done many of the late night talk shows, and is also a comedy wrestler who does Ric Flair parody and also does a Donald Trump parody as a wrestler, which I think is great.
That's so good.
Ryan Cody contacted us and says, "Hey, I'd like to come to your convention. I'll pay my own way. Will you have me?" Yes. So Ryan Cody does a lot. It just has a brand new book called Adventure Van that just came out. Lots of fun.
Science Steve,
PBS. Science Steve is going to be there all weekend, entertaining your children. And we have rumors that on Sunday Family Day, PBS is bringing a super special guest, so you'll want to be out there for that. Yeah.
We actually have another special guest to be showing up. I don't know if we're allowed to say his name, but he'll be triking himself around.
Yeah. A certain critter of the plains that rides a tricycle may be making a new appearance. That was great last year when we reintroduced Wilbur to the guess kind of spoiler alert.
That was a spoiler.
Wilbur to the Sioux Empire.
Wilbur's coming.
Wilbur's coming. The hip hop group Dad we talked about. Midwest All Pro. Midwest All Pro is going to have their very first ladder match at Supermania on Friday night, the 28th, which is going to be pretty amazing. They're going to have a contract on a clipboard ladder match.
Dude.
Right? And then the main event, a triple threat for the both belts on the line. And the Harrisburgers tag team titles will be defended. Stephanie's having a arm wrestling match against one of the wrestlers who she pinned at Hot Harley Nights, and now he's mad, so he thinks he can out arm wrestle her. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun there. Brian and I are doing a very special episode at midnight on Saturday night. We're going to learn lots of things. The more you know. Brian and I are doing Drinking After Dark. So come and drink with Brian and I at midnight on Saturday night in the After Dark. Mm-hmm. Homecoming dance. We're having the Siouxpercon homecoming dance where we will crown our royalty. And we don't care if it's king, king, queen, queen, king, queen. We don't care. We're going to have royalty at our dance, homecoming dance Saturday night. Magic of Travis Nye. Who else am I missing? What else am I missing?
Kudos to Dave Wheeler, who has been very supportive of the convention. Yeah. People like Elliot and Dave, really help us connect with the community, particularly in the cities and around the Midwest. But just knowing people and connecting us. Not Dave to downplay Shane, who's done an amazing job of recruiting guests. Shane's connections have been fantastic this entire time, and why we keep him around, I guess.
I don't have any connections. I'm just thank you. You know what's funny is I don't really have any connections. I just
he makes connections.
Yeah.
It's good network.
I'm like a virus. Once you get me, it's hard to get rid of, even with penicillin.
Hashtag dirtier than the Sioux.
I am. What? Oh, Schulte Subaru.
Big sponsor.
Big sponsor came on this year, and of course, Black Hills Federal Credit Union has been our sponsor for all 3 years. Our main sponsor, our main stage sponsor.
We asked them if they could help out this year, and they said absolutely. They've been great last year as well with stepping up to the plate. And
AV Pro. AV Pro came on. Hobby Lobby is one of our t-shirt sponsors. Or not Hobby Lobby, excuse me. Did I say the wrong place? Hobby Town.
Hobby Town.
Yes, oh, no.
You can have your con.
I heard Hobby.
Birth
control's alright.
I said Hobby out loud. Who else am I missing for big sponsors?
Complete Weddings and Events is going to be helping out through the entire weekend, letting us use their PA and then helping with the dance, DJing, and that's just pretty awesome. Very talented group over there.
Redhead Photo Booth. So Mel, who used to be Hot 104.7 Mel, has a great photo booth called Redhead's Photo Booth, and she is going to give half of all of her proceeds to our charities. She'll have a huge photo booth set up in the breezeway as you walk in. And I should say this as well. Midwest All Pro is giving half of the door from Supermania to our charities.
That's cool.
That's pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
Nice. Pretty amazing.
We've got the Clef.
Please. So if you know anything in the world about the Sioux Falls music scene, you know Jason Weiss. Jason started booking shows in his basement when he was 14. And Jason is such an ardent supporter of the arts and music and everything in this town. And he has the Collective Efforts Union, and they are responsible for Dad the Hip Hop Group coming in. And I couldn't be more thankful to Jason for everything he's doing. He's been wanting to hook up with us since year one. So that's really cool.
I'm really excited to have him. Fear Asylum, of course, is going to be bringing in a giant animatronic
monster.
Nice.
So that's
25 foot, right?
Yeah,
a 25-foot animatronic monster.
But yeah, so if you've seen Star Wars, and you get knocked into that garlic pit, not the garlic, the
garlic pit.
Whatever.
You just called it a garlic pit?
No. I'm backtracking on my words here.
Sarlacc?
Garbage pit.
Sarlacc. You called it a garlic.
I did not.
You lose your nerddom.
I sometimes
it does look like a garbage disposal.
Get my words mixed up. Anyway, that creature looks strikingly similar.
You called it.
I was talking too fast. I'm not gonna.
So Fear Asylum in Brookings, South Dakota, just recently got named one of the top haunted houses in all of America.
Yeah.
Like, how cool is that?
I jumped into Derek, the director's arms last year. Literally jumped into his arms. It's scary in there. Elite Business Systems is
Elite Business System. Guys, 10,000 exclusive sketch pages Elite Business System is coming out with, so you can get sketches and autographs from all of our amazing guests.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so sketch page dedicated just to
you guys could go on and I could go on like all day about this, but where can listeners learn all about what's going on and get the event schedule when it comes out and all that good stuff?
www.siouxpercon.com. That's SIOUX, as in Sioux Empire, as in Sioux Falls, as in Siouxpercon.com. Follow us on Facebook. Man, we every day between now and the convention, we'll be posting a new announcement, fun and exciting things happening. You can get your tickets at www.siouxpercon.com. You can read the guest bios, click on all of our sponsors' links, click on the Sioux Empire Podcast link. It'll bring you right here to us.
We've got photos from the last 2 years.
Yep.
If you haven't seen those.
Yeah, and where else can you find us? Well, anywhere, because we're all volunteers. We're out in the community with you.
Yep.
And I will say that's one of my favorite things about SuperCon is you guys are super approachable and amicable, and it's like I need anything, I can just call you guys, and you guys do a fantastic job, and it's all volunteer, and that's amazing work, and it's awesome that you do that for your charities and do this for the community. So I just want to say thank you very much. You are my shameless plug this week.
Push your applaud button.
Push your applaud button.
I feel odd doing the slow clap by myself.
Is that what we're doing?
Golf clap.
I never had timing on that. I always miss it. I mess it up. Slow clap timing is just off all the time.
So, let's see. White Boy, you got any plugs for this week?
I missed the book.
No, that's next episode.
I was gonna say
next week.
I'm reading Uncle Tom's Cabin right now. I'll plug that. Harry Bridges. So it's It's way better than you can think it's going to be.
Is that a new book?
No. No. 1800 something. No, you can get this for cheap. Yeah.
I saw that on Oprah the other day.
Yeah, that.
Wow.
Boss's Pizza and Chicken and the Comedy Club for allowing us to do that, and obviously Sioux Empire.
Awesome,
yeah. Cool.
Shameless plug number 1, Natasha. Shameless plug number 2, White Boy for filling in for Natasha.
No worries.
Appreciate both of you, and obviously Sioux Empire, but you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that just always goes without saying. We're very humble here.
We're in the shirt.
I know. I'm really excited about the shirt. New shirts this year.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, new shirts in black.
Yeah.
So my last obligatory things here is that I will ask you that if you like what we do here on the Sioux Empire Podcast, that you would go support us at patreon.com/Sioux Falls. Just throw in a little bit for episode. You'll get exclusive content and updates on what we're up to. Huge thank you to Matthew Paulson, one of our Patreon patrons. And as always, we plug SuperCon, which kind of, we've done a bit of that today. Also plugging Live 605, and I will mention, related to SuperCon, Tyler from Live 605 is going to be helping me run the booth so that I'm not trapped with no bathroom break like last time. So Tyler is... he does his live streaming radio station, and he will actually be doing... He has no experience with a con whatsoever. He's like, Super Con? And so he's going to be working the booth with me. He's going to be doing interviews, and he has no experience with any of this geek culture stuff at all. He's totally fish out of water, and it's going to be glorious interviews. So I'm really looking forward to that.
So he's your Larry Bud Melman.
Exactly. So once again, thank you, everyone, and we will see you all next time.
Woo! Later. Woo-woo.